Hi there, this is Just Nigeria. Coming up today, coronavirus in Nigeria. As movement restrictions are partially relaxed, some Nigerians complain of job losses. Also, physically challenged and social distancing. We assess how movement restrictions have impacted the lives of people living with disability. And with restrictions partially lifted in some states, how do you stay safe at work? Plus,
my name is Olatokunbo Fagbanigbe. Check me out.
The technopreneur teaching millennials to maximize opportunities in information and communications technology. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of Gist Nigeria, brought to you by the BBC and Channels TV. And here on the show, we give you perspectives about stories making the rounds on social media. I am Wale Fakile. Our top story for this week. After weeks of lockdown in some states, the impact on Nigeria's economy has been tough, as workers and businesses now bear the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic. With restrictions partially lifted, some workers have no jobs to return to, while others have had their salaries slashed. This comes as business owners review their operations. Now, what steps must the country take to improve the economy? Just Nigeria's Ajoka Ulotse tells us more.
Today, the world as we know it is changing. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected more than 3.5 million people and killed more than 200,000 globally. The virus has also forced at least 1 billion people to stay home, obeying lockdown orders. While its health cost continues to spike, COVID-19 is taking an economic toll on countries globally. On March 30, 2020, Nigeria's president announced the lockdown of the country's worst-hit states, Lagos, Ogun, and the Federal Capital Territory. What started as a means to maintain social distancing brought untold hardship on the people, many of them from the nation's informal sector.
People are dying and suffering.
Even at all, they want us to stay in their house. They have to provide some things for us.
The IMF says Nigeria's informal sector accounts for over 60% of the country's GDP. But it's not the only sector bearing the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns globally.
The International Labour Organization says nearly half of the global workforce could lose their livelihoods due to the continued decline in working hours brought on by lockdowns to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Although the Nigerian government has commenced plans to ease the lockdown gradually, most of Nigeria's economic sectors may have been hit. A 2018 statistics by the World Bank puts Nigeria private sector credit at about 11%, a key indicator that the nation's organized private sector is barely breathing. For 4 years, 27-year-old Opeyemi Asala worked in one of Nigeria's media organizations. Today, she's out of job after employers told her and others to take a compulsory leave without pay in April.
Throughout March, I was working from home. I was creating story, I was writing, I was sending to the office. So we really need to build content for where I work. So after March, we were asked to, that was during the lockdown, we were asked to go on a compulsory leave. No salary, and there's no hope for any money coming in. In short, right now, I'm somehow jobless. And so we asked to wait till further notice. So we don't even have any hope of when they will call off the leave for now. So we are just there.
Like Opeyemi, 26-year-old Osione Abokai works in another private sector immigration consultancy firm and is faced with a different kind of uncertainty.
I mean, the whole point of coming to work was so I could earn money, so I could have money to pay my bills, feed myself, take care of my health, send to my family. That was the whole point of working. But now that there is no money coming, it's like, what am I really doing? I'm not volunteering. I came to work. So it's confusing. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with it. It's like, what do I really do? Should I just stay hoping one day things will get better, or should I move on? And it's like, okay, even if I apply for other jobs, what's the guarantee that I'll get paid?
But these anxieties are not peculiar to employees alone.
The International Labour Organization warns that 436 million enterprises operating in wholesale and retail, manufacturing, accommodation and other economic sectors globally face high risk of serious disruption. Victoria runs this low-income school in one of Lagos' suburbs. Classes are empty, our teachers jobless, and without a financial reserve, our finances have taken a hit.
We usually get our school fees when we're about to write exam. So when we couldn't write exams, I couldn't do school fees drive. We just sent everybody home. I had to use my rent that I saved from my house, my residence, to pay my staff at home. Usually when my staff ask me about when are we going to resume, when is the school going to open, what's the next thing, it kills my heart. It's so painful because I know that April's salary is not even sure for them. Since it was difficult for me to get March salary, I don't even know how I'm going to get April's salary. So each time they call me for that, I know that indirectly they're asking, we need our April salary, and I don't even have it.
Victoria's dilemma is shared by some other employers. Chukwuma Johnson runs an investment company based in Lagos. While he hasn't defaulted on staff salaries, he says the worst is far from over.
It does depend on how strong your balance sheet is. For the small and medium-scale enterprises, it's a difficulty for them to continue to meet up with their overhead and salaries as well as salaries and wages. But for the big companies that have some level of reserve, they may be able to go through a few months of no income. But ultimately, if commercial activity will not resume, if business activity will not resume, virtually it will be difficult for you to find a company that will continue to meet salary payment obligations and other overheads.
Meanwhile, financial experts warn Nigeria would need to prepare for its economic outcomes on both its workers and businesses.
In a critical period like this, tough decisions have to be made. What we've seen in other countries has been governments actually pledging to spend so much, not only to fight the disease, but also to help businesses so that businesses do not fall so low, which will make the recovery much easier once the pandemic is over. So we've seen US committing about $1 trillion to help individuals so that spending continues so that businesses do not shut down. We've seen UK put around 20 billion euros. We've seen other countries do something similar. Germany has said we are willing to spend unlimited amounts just to make sure we fight the pandemic and also help the economy. So if we look at our case, so far CBN has been the agency of government that is helping out. We've not had so much on the fiscal side, which is government talking about both the tax and the expenditure side. The only thing we've had a little bit on the fiscal side is the reduction in terms of petroleum and products, at the gas station, so that the average person is not hurt. But we need to see more.
As Nigeria continues to sustain efforts to contain the coronavirus, making big decisions at the right time could improve its already struggling economy. These timely interventions may prove crucial to cushion the economic fallout of the pandemic. Ajoke Hulotsi, GIST Nigeria.
All right, so what's your view on the coronavirus pandemic and how it's affected Nigeria's economy? Do share with us on Twitter at GIST Nigeria TV.